Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got a guest in studio. She's here to promote comedians and drag doing comedy.
Which our friend Ross McCoy, I believe he was a part of this years ago.
Yeah, he did one.
And I tried to get out to it, but I didn't make it. Did you go, Sam? Were you?
I did, yeah. I went to that one, and I also went to one that was downtown Orlando that was Disney themed.
Yeah, I knew that was the one you and I were talking about. Yeah, this is super cool.
So Anna Leppley is on the show. How you doing, Anna?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. That show we're talking about, December 30th. It's in Satellite Beach, Beachside Retro. Where can you get your tickets?
Eventbrite. I have my Eventbrite link. I don't have it on my Instagram just yet because I have a show in Pensacola. I actually had Ross on it at Fat Fish Blue this past February.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I did the Disney themed one in downtown Orlando. I wasn't too pleased with either of the venues for different reasons because this is a very high energy show. So I was like, I need a lot. Lately, people have been making it rain on the comics. It's been getting increasingly wild, and I will have done, I think, over 23 cities this past year.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So let's talk
you.
about that.
Is it just done by you?
It's all me.
You're the team.
I do all the booking. I produce it. I invented it. I do it all.
This is our new best friend because this is what we do. This is what exhausts you, and this is what
Doing it all
grinds you.
yourself?
Yeah, this is what makes you crazy. Yeah, you're our new best friend because this is exactly what we do.
So where'd you come up with the idea? What was the inspiration for comedians and drag doing comedy?
I love seeing straight men dress as women.
Yeah.
But, the show includes men and women of all sexual preferences, gender identities, but it really just stemmed from that. I think seeing straight men tap into their feminine side is beautiful, sometimes hilarious, most of the time hilarious if they're comedians. And it really is a beautiful thing. And I will say, I've had a number of comics on the show that are good comics, just on a regular basis. But when they're dressed as women, they thrive. It's almost like they're tapping into this persona of them that they're afraid to show. And I give them an excuse to show it. So it's...
I love that. What happened to that? If we can talk on that for a minute, because we had an item here. I think we gave it away for BDM Appreciation Week. But my father loved to break up a party by coming out dressed as a woman. And my dad had a stripper, like a bigger lady stripper costume that he would put on, and they would come out and he would dance. My dad also, in any church program, he would be the woman. He would like Milton Berle used to do this, but it seems along the line that tapping into that more sensitive feminine side, nurturing, whatever you want to call it, it seems like we villainized it in a weird way. And it doesn't mean you're gay. It doesn't mean it really means nothing. It's meaningless. My dad truly only did it to make people laugh. That's it. There was no other reason. It was literally like he just tapped into it, and it wasn't to make fun of people that are gay. It wasn't to marginalize. It wasn't to do anything other than just make people laugh. Why is that not? Where did it go?
Another reason I love doing my show is that it normalizes dressing as the opposite sex. It gender neutralizes dressing in drag, because I've had the extreme left and the extreme right protest it. And my message to both of them,
Really?
My message to both of them is that they should have sex with each other because they're the exact same.
Same people.
They're the exact
You're
same.
right,
They're both.
you're right.
They're really the extreme left that protests my show. They're typically heterosexual, have never faced any discrimination in their life ever. And I think that they have deep-rooted homophobia, transphobia, because they go, oh, this has to be only gays and trans comics. And I go, no, this is all comics. I do not ask my comics what their actual gender, what their biological gender is, or when they were born, what their sexual preference. I book strong comedians. I had an all-gay trans lineup. I label them. And I had an extreme left person say, you need to put a gay flag next to your name on the flyer. I said, wait, I can't swear, right?
No, I'm sorry, because it would have been perfect then.
I was like, what is this, the Holocaust? I'm not going to label my comics. They are good. I book good comedians.
Funny people.
I can't tell you how many times people go, oh, you should book this comedian. They love dressing in drag. I don't care. I need to know their skill set. I book only strong comedians.
So let's talk about that, because I imagine first you got I'm sure you've worked with comedians that have never dressed in drag before? Or
That's
have they
the
all
novelty, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a lot of them have never dressed in drag, so this is the first time. And do you have a stipulation where like you can't just wuss out and go only wig? You know, you have to do the whole.
No,
like,
man,
is there?
I think you got to go makeup. I think you got to go eyelashes.
Yeah, like do you have
you
a
gotta
standard?
Have some accessories. You got to. I think you got to take it serious.
Yeah,
Because
you
why
gotta
else?
put-
Why else are you up there if you're not going to do it 100%?
So what? Like, okay, so say I was doing it, I agreed, and what? Like,
We're not comedians, but man, I've been itching for you and I to do a drag event with Brendan.
well,
He'll be in here tomorrow.
what? Like, what's the baseline that I would have to do? Like, what if I didn't do makeup? It's not as good, right? Like,
I don't
have
think so.
I have to go full bore, right?
Here's the thing. I do the show in so many cities. I just debuted it. Now it's officially international. I did it in Toronto in the summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great city.
And I love Toronto. Oh, the girls are so hot. Anyways, I have a thing for Canadian girls.
Hey,
All right.
they're nice and they're pretty. There
and
you
they're
go.
smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. I can only do so much. They understand the concept. They have plenty of references to check in my social media. I have highlights of all the shows I've done. For example, the other night I did a show in Yulee, Florida, which is incredibly redneck. So I had a wonderful audience towards the front. The back, you could tell they were super redneck.
Uncomfortable by it.
A little bit, just
I bet
rude.
there's some curiosity there too, because some of those guys probably were having to put on the redneck affront, but also in their mind they're thinking, "This is pretty cool. I like this," or something.
That's
you know?
why I
No?
do the show. I do the show in all the cities, you name it. I don't care what town I do it, and I'll say a couple things because you asked about the criteria. When I just did it in Melbourne, I sold out at the Iron Oak Post. Christian
Nice.
Moore won 2 years in a row, and another comic was kind of upset about it, but I base it on audience vote and also the effort they put in.
Okay.
So I can't tell them.
Time spent.
They're going to show up and they're going to do what they want. I had a guy in Toronto and I adored him. He was a great comic. He didn't even have a wig or any makeup or anything. He just
on,
wore
man.
short shorts. But I can't say you're not allowed on the show. Like we gotta go. You know what I mean? I can't babysit them. I can't. You know, some
It's
guys.
up to them. It's like you're ruining it for yourself because you're not going to win now. It's the people that put the
it's
effort
the
in.
fun of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I I can't kick them off. There was something else going to say about that, but I just have fun with it. Put in the effort. It will show and do your thing, but just be a good comic. There was something else I was going to say about bringing it to these redneck. Oh yeah. At the end of the show, somebody wins. So there is a Miss or Mr. because the women dress as men.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great. Okay, that's good to know. So ladies
Men
dress
dress
as
as-
guys and guys dress as
And there
ladies.
have been some girls that didn't want to dress as guys. So I'm like, okay, then just don't do it or do it and do your best. But
I like that you stick to the rule too. I like
Okay.
it. Like either don't do it,
Yeah.
because that's the way I've structured the show. It's my show.
Well, it's also
Hey.
funny that, like, even for the audience, you were like, some people, like, they know what they're showing up to, right? It's in the name
Yeah, it's
of
in the name.
comedians in drag doing comedy. I like being a redneck showing up.
what
and be like,
the AFBC?
I'd be like,
Is that really
what?
a thing?
You bought tickets for this. Like, what do you think it is? How are you mad about
Let's
what's
see
happening?
how this goes.
I have to say, majority of my audience for the show, 95% heterosexual. So I really don't ever deal. I actually worry more about the extreme left, the little Che Guevara loving people, than the right. But I have had, but it's very rare. In
Interesting.
general.
So you have more people being offended or somehow
Four people.
that people
This
are
is so offensive to my gay friends.
Should-
or
But
But they're
something like
straight.
that.
Yeah. I'm like, hello, look at the host. They're like, what is this? So I'll tell you what, I had a show in Emmaus, Pennsylvania. This was the only time I had an issue. And they were saying that the show was homophobic, transphobic. I said, you might want to research the host. And then they said, well, your comics, are they LGBTQ, whatever, FM, I don't know.
Yeah, plus, yeah.
I said, I don't ask. That would be so invasive of me to say, hey, are you free to do my show? By the way, show me a picture of your genitals and what's your sexual preference.
Yeah, that's
Wait a minute, I do that for
insane.
everybody. Like, we didn't do it for
Yeah, when you
you.
come
We didn't do
here,
it for you because Ross asked. But normally that's the process. here.
hiring process at T&D Media.
So here's what they got pissed about. One of the guys on the lineup, Chris Freed, he's a great comic up in Pennsylvania that I had met doing a show in Pennsylvania.
Sure.
They said, this guy's been on Fox News. Like, they went and researched all the comics. And I said, shouldn't you be excited that I got a guy who's been on Fox News to dress as the opposite sex?
Right. That's a win.
Not only that, he deep throated a dildo 6 times on stage that night. If that doesn't,
Yeah.
that
My
doesn't
God.
say,
You
like,
can't do that on Fox
yeah,
News.
yeah.
Exactly. Take that, Tucker.
And how big has this grown? And like as you do more and more of these shows, like we were talking before, and like obviously they're getting more and more popular. Like, do you see it growing into a bigger venue? And like,
It's already,
have you had?
It seems like you're having that issue.
Have you had
getting
comedians?
larger and
Because
larger.
I'm sure there's stand-ups out there that are known for doing
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, well, Eddie Izzard's one of the most
It's
famous.
like the most famous I can think of.
But I'm sure there's a lot of other comedians that do this professionally. But you don't want that. The whole point is for comedians
Out of your comfort zone.
out of your comfort zone, right?
That's the novelty, but I do make exceptions. I mean, if I had the budget, I would hire Bob the Drag Queen, who's one of the best comedians I've ever seen. I opened for him in Dania Beach Improv, but let's face it, the majority of the comics that I can afford to have on the show are not going to be drag queens. But yes, that is the novelty, is getting comics out of their comfort zone to do something they've never done. I do have comics over and over again, and here's also what's happening. Comics get mad if I don't book them again because I return to the city. It comes back
Gotcha.
a year later.
Nice.
So, for example, I did the Miami Improv last January. I'm doing it again this January,
There you
January
go.
18th. And one of the comics, very sweet boy, I adore him. He's a little bit upset that I'm not booking him on again. I can't have the same lineup. I do have favoritism, but nobody needs to know.
Yeah.
I need to switch up the lineup, and they get so excited to do it that they want to do it again.
And you do at the end. Does a crowd decide who wins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is something interesting with letting the crowd decide. Me and Daniel have done a lot of
bikini contest.
bikini contest.
Yeah.
The contest.
You guys dress in bikini?
No,
Yeah.
they're
I mean,
like
we did
the-
yesterday. We actually went to the thrift store, and I wore a dress, and I had on some elf shoes, and you had on a Joker suit.
But the like when you let the crowd decide the winner, it's interesting because it's almost an experiment in psychology.
It is.
Or sociology, where like sometimes the crowd wants the person that is like maybe not the
Maybe
stereotypical.
not the funniest or best, but
They're rooting for like an underdog.
Yeah,
like
there's a charm there.
So in like bikini contests, this happens a lot where if it's all like we call them ringers, where it's like circuit girls or whatever that like go to every Hooters or Wing House bikini con. They do this basically for part-time money, where they're
because
just
their OnlyFans isn't paying them enough. Like,
Do you remember
They're
the
circuit
one
girls.
girl? There used to be this girl. I'm sorry, this is an aside, and I apologize. Do you remember the redhead that used to be the ringer in the ringer circuit?
Yeah,
wherever she would pose, she would go like this, and everyone called her fart face.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to see if you remember that.
So and then there's one outlier that joins the contest that is
like
like
Leo's sister on the shark ride.
where like she does not fit the mold of all the other girls on
She's
stage.
a little larger, curvier. She's not your typical
And
circuit girl.
When you put your hand over that person and the audience goes insane because they kind of want to, like, the audience tends to want to buck the system for whatever reason. Like they want to go against what
Look
what
at our
they're
political
supposed to
system.
do.
Look what we've done.
they're like we know
F 'em, make it crazy.
we know this person should win, but we want to go this. Does that happen at any time? No. They legitimately choose, because I feel like it's a whole different, like, you're not gonna get that.
Does
mentality.
it come down to the quality of the jokes typically?
So the also how many people they bring. The
that's
format of the
smart.
show is this. I open with a very brief set, which I've been realizing more and more people are getting upset because I build a following. I do stand-up comedy. I do my own. I headline all over the South. I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do comedy all over the U.S. and now Canada. And I build a following, and they'll come to the drag show, and they're like, oh, we thought we were going to see more of you. I go, I'm just the ringleader. This is my show.
Yeah.
But I just do an opening set for 5-6 minutes, and then I make it all about the comics. Each comic comes out to a song of their choice. Ideally, they lip sync. Some pussy out. Can I say that?
That's fine.
Yeah, totally fine.
It's like cat.
Yeah.
And then
There's no FCC anymore. We've
Okay.
realized that. We're like, we're like, what is that? That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
they do about 8 to 10 minutes. If they're drunk, they run the light because they feel I create queens. They run the light, you
Yeah,
know,
they're into
all the
it,
time.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's insane. I have to
Well,
light them
once
30
the people
times.
are cheering, the lights are on you, the music's pumped up. I mean, who isn't going to twirl to that? I'm going to twirl.
Well, this is during their comedy set. They run the light.
Oh,
I don't
gotcha,
light
gotcha.
them. The lip sync is a brief thing in the
Oh,
beginning
okay,
to
gotcha,
come out.
gotcha.
They go right into their comedy set. For the second half of the show, they come out in bikinis, beachwear for men, or women dressing as
Nice.
men. I ask them questions, and then I go around and ask who wants who to win. And to be honest, based on, you know, I got so much going on, but even in my head, I'm thinking who really did the best in their comedy set. For the Q&A, who did the best, who brought the most people, who did the most effort in their makeup. These guys are wearing heels. For the most part, everybody generally does very, very well. I'm so surprised. Very rarely am I like, oh, that person sucked, I wouldn't book them again.
Yeah.
They deliver so well, and I'm always so impressed. And
Ross said the vibe of the whole show is just uber positive. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing is just like
Yeah.
high energy and it just goes.
I wonder if that is the key, because in a normal, like, if you put together normal comedians without the
Well,
drag
she's got them on
element,
tilt a little bit.
You know, that's what I'm
You know,
saying.
like, so.
because I feel like you would have way more of a percentage of people that bombed or whatever, as opposed to now they're in drag one way or the other.
Yeah, you can't
and
concentrate on the bomb.
the
You can't
energy-
you can't get enmeshed in
Like
it.
immediately, it puts you on tilt. It puts you
Yeah.
outside of your comfort zone a little bit, because you're like, you've done
So
stand
it
up
forces
10,000
you to
times.
go with your comfort, which is your joke.
And and I feel like that nervous energy of being in drag, because I feel like if you don't do it that often, you get nervous about it. You're like,
Yeah.
God, this is outside of my comfort
Takes
level.
it up a little bit.
and I'm not used to this. And
There's
so,
a lot of adrenaline in the room. You
Yeah,
know,
you're
like,
like,
yeah.
I commend them so much for what they do. I every single comedian that's on my show, because not only are you doing something so insanely out of character, there a lot of times, because a lot of the common questions I get are, do I have to shave my beard? And I said, I don't care if you
Glitter it.
do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
just
I'm not,
glitter it.
again, I'm not like over here. Like,
Obviously,
you
don't
It's
follow
better
any
with the
drag
beard,
queens.
though.
Drag queens
Right.
typically have glitter
Some
beards
guys
now.
will shave everything. I mean, the amount of
Whoa.
effort they put nails on, they
like it.
go balls to the wall. They will go, and I appreciate that. And then another thing they ask is, what should my comedy set be like? And I say, I let you guys do. That's why I book good comedians. Some comics will either do their set tweaked as a female or male version, and they change their voice.
Oh, that's funny.
So, Drew Illa, he won West Palm Beach Improv, so essentially he's the queen of West Palm Beach. He is a masculine, heterosexual, beautiful man, and he did a female character the whole time. I think he was basically channeling the frustration he's
Yeah.
had from ex-girlfriends.
He's being
and
creative,
brilliant,
right? So he's
brilliant.
using a voice.
Yes.
He's using the
He won.
costuming. Yeah, that's
he
amazing.
won, and yeah, I commend them, and they come out in bikinis. I mean, that's so.
That's
you're
yeah,
in
that'd
a
be hard to
light.
do.
You've got a room full of people staring at you.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this.
Only you
because
could do that because you're the only one that bics down like
You're
a baby.
gonna ask. A lot of testicles
Yeah.
do come out. I can't believe
Yeah.
I do this for a living.
Okay.
I do have a
Yeah.
PhD, and I'm not doing anything with it.
Dr. Balls.
Well-
Dr. Balls.
I feel it's harder for men to
Yeah.
dress like women than it is the opposite, and because
for hiding things,
well,
typically it is.
even
in
but,
bikinis it is.
but if like a woman dressed like a man, she can go like, trousers, some
Coat, like a jacket, suit
fake
jacket,
mustache,
polo.
done, right? Put her hair up, hat, like hair and a hat, and now you're like, you did a great job.
But what if you want to go take it to the max?
But even taking it to the max,
Get a
what
wig,
you go
get a fake
suit?
mustache.
Yeah, but you go suit, you hide your hair in some sort of short wig or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even then, I feel like hiding in a hat,
I feel like you need to have a comedian who has her breast removed
well,
to really take it to the max.
but for
I had a girl in Toronto put a chest plate on. It
Okay.
was brilliant.
Oh,
That's
okay.
close
And it was
enough,
funny
yeah.
because I was touching her, and I go, "What is this? One of your abs? It was one of her. Can I wait?
yeah,
it
it's
was
fine.
one of her
Yeah.
boobs.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
we
we
pull
got
on
it.
but if I want to go all out, like now I'm going makeup, a dress I'm not used to wearing, so that
Yeah.
immediately, like I feel like
I wore one yesterday. It's a friggin' scam. It's amazing. I wore one yesterday and sat and we did the show, a little bit of the show, and I was in a dress. And I'm like, this is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my life. This is amazing.
yeah, but every woman has worn pants and is used to wearing pants.
Pants are
It's like not the
terrible.
1800s where a woman puts on
Not
pants.
if you're Pentecostal. They're not
That's
allowed.
true. Not
Well, I'm
allowed.
just saying, in very rare scenarios. I'm just saying, so like it's less comfortable if you for a man who's never dressed like a woman and harder. So I just give him more credit.
Some girls, you'd be surprised. There's a girl I love booking in Daytona, Annie Polzella. She will change right after the show, and I got some other girls that I can think of that do not like it. And I have no opinion because essentially I should be dressing as a woman because me, I just draw on a mustache. I look like Dave Navarro. It's easy for me. But if I had the help, what I would like to do is for the first half be dressed as me with the mustache.
Okay.
And then for the second half, I have a blonde wig that I keep in my car, which people get really startled by. But I have a character that I make fun of a girl. I'm Cuban, so I make fun of a girl from Hialeah. I say she's my lesbian cousin. And,
there you go.
You know, but I have so much going on. I don't have. It's just me. I'm running. Sometimes I when I do the show, I'm working the door. I'm playing the music for them. It's just it's all me. And when some venues are just phenomenal to work with, and they are able to provide we'll play the music for you. We'll work the door, and it's great. But sometimes I have no time.
Are you from down south?
I was born and raised in Connecticut, and I moved to Miami.
He just wanted a Miami connection.
Yeah,
He
I'm
grew
from
up in
Miami.
Come on over.
He was fishing for the
I was
Miami
gonna talk-
connection.
Call me Mr.
I love
Kendall.
Miami. We can talk about Miami.
I was going to talk Hungry Bear subs for a second because they
Oh
don't have any
my
Hungry
God.
Bear. They should have some
Yeah.
sort of traditional
Yeah.
Miami sub shop
Anna
up here.
looks
They
like
don't
she's
do-
into the Hungry Bear sauce.
I actually eat anything I want. People
Okay.
get very.
But you're a doctor. You're a nutritionist.
I have a PhD in nutrition, and it's so funny because I eat like a 4-year-old. I eat gas station food all the time. I eat sweets every single night before bed.
But you take care
And
of
people
yourself,
go,
right?
I
Before
work
bed.
out. Most comedians don't work out. And
Yeah.
people go, well, why are you eating this? And I go, you tell me. You tell me why this is bad for me. So I let them tell me.
So tell me your misinformation is what you're
and
asking.
they have
about.
no answer.
Right.
Most comedians don't work out. No, that's right.
I love comics, but I
knew
they
that,
do.
yeah.
They drink.
Yeah,
They're out.
yeah,
I love 99.9% of comedians I meet. I adore. For the 0.01% if I don't like them, there's something wrong with them. But I will say this, I worry because a lot of comics don't take care of themselves. We have the highest drug use. All the comics are smoking weed. All the comics are drinking.
Well, they're all broken and damaged.
Well, that's why we're
kinda
doing
made 'em
comedy.
funny.
Exactly. They got to resort to the drugs and the drink.
Yeah, but the comedy is the therapy. So, I don't understand how they're just compounding it. Like, I'm going to do this really therapeutic thing.
they burn
and then
out
just-
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm doing my sons a disservice by raising them with trying to be mentally healthy and physically in a stable household.
Well, they
I'm
won't
like,
be unique.
You'll
and
never
all.
be funny. no, you'll
No,
like,
seriously, same thing with Maisie. I'm like, you will not be unique. You will literally just be a logical work. You'll be right into the system. You'll be a great worker.
Yeah.
But there's nothing damaged about you. There's nothing crazy, but nothing to set you aside.
That's why
set
a
you
lot of
apart.
straight female comedians are saying they're bisexual in their
Oh,
comedy
yeah.
sets.
oh, really?
I'm like, come on, dude.
Can you tell as a comedian working in a world where, like, you see it, you're working you can tell obviously who's being authentic, who's not being authentic.
For the most part, I generally go into things just wanting everybody to succeed and everything, and I still want
That's a
people
good
to
way to
succeed.
be.
But there's room for all comics to succeed. That's the thing that a lot of comics don't understand when they're like, "Oh, this person got this." I go, "Yeah,
Right.
there's room for everybody."
Yeah.
But there's
and
are
you're
some
making
comics
your own
that,
way too, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like everybody's their own business per se. So like, and that's the thing. The same thing with bands and stuff. Like they're running a small business, and the small business is themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's up to them, like how successful you get. And now a lot of it is happenstance and a lot of luck and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like it's up to every individual to make their way and be as successful as they want for the most part.
But yes, some are come mierdas, as we say in Spanish. They're just
I know what that means.
they're not authentic, but.
Do you really?
No, he does not.
Yeah.
I know what it means.
Well,
Shit
that has
talkers.
different meanings in Puerto Rico and in Cuba, but for
I'll
the
write
most
that
part,
down,
No, sorry. Is that what it means, though, right? As talkers?
somebody who's just not authentic, and they're just full of and you're kind of like that's a kind of like a not an authentic person, and maybe they have ulterior motives or whatever. But it's the industry. You're gonna find that everywhere you go.
And really, like, how like authentic you are as a person, and how crazy you are, whatever, the bad person. Like your stage show really is what's important. Just like that. Although being a good person and being cool does help you get way further, because like
I think it does too.
every touring comedian that comes in here that's had success has been pretty cool. Like we've never had a straight D head
No.
come in here. That's
Not
like
even
come to
one
the,
time.
You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense. It's like you couldn't be that and do this for a living.
We had
because-
one comedian get really mad at us because we didn't follow up with something we told him we were going to do. That's a discussion for another time. But we've never had somebody come in here and like just instantly be an asshole ever.
It's very rare. I gotta say it's such a cool industry because I travel to so many places, and it's like when I'm out and someone starts talking to me, and if I don't know if they're a comic or not, I'm like, wait, are you a comic? Because then I'll engage in more conversation. If you're not a comic, although I do talk to all the audiences after the show because I sell merch, but it's just how it's so cool how comedians, to me, I really like so many of them right off the bat. It's a natural, authentic, and
they're
it's
also
very-
interesting people.
I did threaten-
It's like if they went
Yeah.
to this, they were drawn towards this industry, this way of life for a reason, and most likely is because they were somehow interesting, funny in some way. Like.
But you like school. Can we talk about school? You like school, right? Obviously, if
I
you're
like what?
School or
I'm
learning.
very
or-
anti-college. I got my PhD. I started comedy shortly after, and I taught college.
So you were.
I used to present at academic
Nice.
conferences. I used to present to bomb technicians on hydration and alcohol are some of my specialties, the negative effects and the positive effects. I wrote my
That's my
first book.
specialty.
Yeah. Oh my God. The negative effects are my life. The positive effects, I haven't found any.
I wrote my first book on how to naturally boost testosterone levels for both men and women and why it's important. My second book was on the health benefits of moderate consumption of beer and alcohol, and I used to tour with that. And
We need that because both of us have very low T, almost to the point.
Yeah.
I mean, almost to the point where we are forming our own vagina.
And my
It's happening. I can feel mine forming.
Your
like,
labia
I feel my
is going-
penis. Yeah, I have a labia. I have a labia majora. I have a labia minora.
I
I'm
also-
sorry, not to throw some like. I know you're a doctor and all, but I'm throwing some heavy terms around.
I would not describe my consumption of alcohol as moderate.
well, there are a number of health benefits, but I was kind of the industry is just a bunch of nonsense. I've been turned down from jobs for doing comedy. I've been turned down from jobs for being gay. I did a job interview in Jacksonville, and the guy who interviewed me, my credentials were way above his. I really did build a hell of a resume. I published in textbooks and scientific
You can't
journals.
work here because you're gay.
He texted me and said, and I wish I would have known then, but he's like, wait, are you gay or are you bisexual? And I said, that answer will never matter to you. Also, you're
Good
gay.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, how did you not know when you walked into the door?
People are idiots, but
No.
people are,
No, I'm just saying. You like, why is it any of your
Dude.
business? That's
Who
all.
would ask that?
I know.
I don't know.
anything about this. Yeah, can I say
But I-
dick? I already
yeah,
said it.
you can-
Nothing
it's
about
fine.
this says
It's
I
fine.
like dick, right? My arm is a dick. I'm covered in veins. And then, but I will say this because I wanted to go back on the comic thing. Another thing I noticed with comedians is it's like right off. I know that a lot of straight comedian dudes hit on straight comedian girls, and I always feel bad for straight comedian girls because you're going out there, they're gonna hit on you. But as a lesbian, guys never bother me. It's like this inherent intelligence that they have. But one time I did a show in St. Pete and there was a Fort Myers comic there. And I had one of my best friends, she's Slovakian. She was like a Playboy model.
All right.
She was sitting next to me and this guy starts going, you definitely like dick. I know you like dick, for about 2 minutes. And I was so surprised because I had just headlined this show. We all killed. And he was saying that to her. And again, this is the 0.01 of comics.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I will break your nose in the middle of this bar if you bother my friend again. And
my
I said that. So I do have like a,
And was he like, that's so hot?
I mean, maybe. I think he went and
Yeah.
jerked. Oh, wait, I can't say
Yeah,
this.
sorry, I'm sorry.
You went
We'll
and-
have you back when you
made
can
this
come
uncensored.
back.
Yeah.
We'll have you back and I'll just let
On the
you
uncensored
go
show.
crazy.
It's unfortunate because she walked in while D-Rug and Jolly were still here. And
Right,
those,
right.
Yeah, that was the uncensored show.
Yeah,
so,
I
you know.
know.
But no, comics are, to me, are so intelligent and such good people. And I have such a quick connection with them everywhere I go. I think they're some of the greatest.
Okay, this show is December 30th, but there's how many? Like,
Multiple Florida
This is
shows.
going on next year and going all around the country, right?
Yeah, so far for so this month I have December 17th in Pensacola at the Vinyl Music Hall, December 30th at Satellite Beach in Beachside Retro, which by the way is such a cool place. Jimmy Moynihan runs a weekly or bi-monthly, I don't know, bisexual, 2 times a month. He runs a show there and there's an open mic there on Sundays.
Nice.
The owner of the venue is incredible. I love the place. You can buy so much cool stuff there. It is not only an incredible comedy venue, it's just a really cool store. Like they sell record players and records, old
nice.
T-shirts, really, really cool stuff. I love that place. It is an incredible place in Satellite Beach that the owner calls the plaza Little Daytona Beach because there's a strip club there. There's like
Oh my God! It's like Daytona
reality
Junior.
show.
I love it. That's cool.
and I love
I'm just
Beachside
amazed
Retro.
that you can memorize all of your dates and
Oh,
where you're
yeah.
playing because every other comedian, I mean, Jolly was just in here. He does a show every week at the same place and couldn't remember.
She's
it.
a doctor.
It
That's
helps.
true.
It helps on social media. I'll post my schedule, and that helps me. But my brain is a calendar and a map, because I'm
God.
doing the Panhandle next week and Mobile, Alabama, which I guess is along the coast of the Redneck Riviera. But I have January 18th. I have Comedians in Drag doing comedy at the Miami Improv. February 15th at the Music Farm in Charleston, and February 18th in Knoxville, Tennessee. I forget the name of the venue. But the one cool thing about it is that I started the show doing it at really I'm going to try to be
It's like
not
crappy.
Dive bars.
crappy bar. I was going
Yeah.
to say really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
crappy bars. And to this day, I still appreciate every single venue that has had me. And now, I was going to go back to Charleston, and I was trying to get the Sparrow, which is a really cool venue.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do it again because they weren't using they only want to produce their own shows. And I
Okay.
was like, I respect that. Who cares? I always leave on very good terms with venues, but I do run it. So it's a little hard for some venues to be like, all right, but I got the Music Farm, which is a huge venue. So it's just going
Yeah.
bigger now.
That's awesome.
As the name's going around.
Can
getting
I
out there.
ask you some medical advice?
Oh my God!
Because
I've got
I've-
180.
Oh,
Oh,
because
he's
I-
taking his pants down. Oh my God! Look at this.
We're
It's
going
oh
from
my God.
breaking comics nose to
Harvey
drag.
Weinstein's gangrene balls all of a sudden.
It's a fish.
But you should probably know what my dissertation is before you ask me something about your prostate.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
we were
that's
just
fine.
talking about Jolly's is really bad.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that. I mean, you're
He
not a
came
medical
back
doctor,
inside
but
to go
you,
pee.
you saw that. He peed like 7 times
man.
during that. That's not.
Oh, but I pee a lot. I
Okay.
drink a lot of water. I mean,
Okay.
if he's drinking alcohol, which initially has a
Diuretic,
diuretic
right?
effect,
Yeah.
once you continue drinking, then it has the opposite effect, and that's where dehydration sets in.
Oh, he needs to keep drinking. I'll
no,
text
no,
him.
no, no,
Oh.
the opposite.
Oh, it's too far gone.
Oh.
He's
Don't worry
drinking
about
some
it.
sodium.
He died.
His kidneys are rock hard. So this is about testosterone. I would like.
I want to get on that too.
I want to start doing testosterone.
Start kicking my dog around.
because
Kick your dog.
well, that's it. Makes me crazy. I start
I'll
slapping.
put you in the category with that Fort Myers boy that I almost beat
I
up.
like the Slovakians.
They-
I
Oh,
like 'em.
I love
Because
Slovakians.
everybody that tells me they're on it, that I come across these
Yeah.
people, they're like, I got on the T, and then
Yeah.
they're like
They're
better
shredded.
shape.
And they got the penis arms, the
Well,
veins all in them.
they're
Like
just-
mine,
They're
yeah.
vascular.
They're better
Well,
shape.
yours are better than Madonna's. Madonna's arms look like penises.
They
like two
say-
But
penises.
mine actually, it's cold in here.
You're very vascular.
Very, very, yeah. I
Well,
have-
it gets
I
hot
have
under
a whole
here.
bit.
Yeah, you look
yeah,
good.
it's freezing in here, so yeah, I typically have my veins are
More
out.
veins out.
So everybody says how great it is and how good it makes them feel, and then I'm talking about like middle-aged men.
I felt good in my 20s, and I think that's when I had it.
Yeah, and then everything, and then I talked to my doctor. He's like, "Don't get on it; it's a scam. But you don't need it." And then I'm like, "But all these people are saying how good it makes them feel."
Right.
And then as long as you can afford it, what's the downfall? And then people are like, "Oh, well, this guy, his heart blew up." But I'm like, he's on like 10 times.
Yeah.
He's on Liver King testosterone
Yeah.
or steroids and stuff. Like he's abusing it. Like if you abuse anything, it's bad for you. But what about just getting it to where
Yeah,
you?
what about just a dose, like microdosing, like
19
everybody's doing with mushrooms now?
Or like, give me the testosterone.
That's the thing now. Everybody's like, I microdose. I don't have anxiety anymore. Everybody tells me I suffer from anxiety. I'm on medication. Everybody's like, no, no, no. You just microdose your mushrooms. You should have been doing this years ago. Look at me. I'm a king of the world. I'm like, I don't think it works like that.
If I just boost my testosterone, I'm 40 now. If I boost my testosterone
You're
to
40 now?
to where I
You
was
look great.
when I was 20,
I wasn't
though.
going to say that. the size of his hair, my God.
So
bald
can I
spot.
do that, Anna? Like, that's fine, right?
So you should work with an endocrinologist because the problem is when you start
He likes
getting-
an ultra. No.
Oh, that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with anybody.
I have a PhD. I don't prescribe testosterone.
No, I
but
know.
I
I
but
can
can
get
you?
out.
Like, can you? I know
meet
you
me out
don't.
in the street. I'll inject your ass cheek.
If I got
Leave that up to me. I'll get the drugs. I'm
Hold
just
on.
asking you,
Anna just
can I
said she'll
take
meet
it?
you at the street and check your
Yeah.
ass cheeks. That's all I
I'm gonna
wanted.
prick his ass
That's
cheek.
all I wanted.
I'm gonna inject him. No, I think testosterone is phenomenal. I think
knew it.
It's great for
Write
your
that down.
It's great for your mental, exogenous when you're actually, supplementing with it, whether it be with a
Exhausted.
cream or exogenous, whether it be with a cream or with a needle. But the thing is, it has to be done right. I mean, we're not saying go and be a replica of Andre the Giant. I mean, he had acromegaly, so he was born with that. But
I don't look like
have
that.
to-
Oh my God.
the growth
If I look
hormone
like
and
that, imagine 5'2" and I look like Andre the Giant. People be like,
Oh my God!
they'd be like,
Something happened.
look at this tiny giant.
but that's the thing that I think a lot of doctors think, oh, you're gonna, it's gonna get out of hand, and there are dangers with it, but if done right, it's a phenomenal way to supplement the hormone that is essential to your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your strength, your libido.
You'll feel,
It's-
you're
Yeah.
a
And for men
libido.
and
I'm
women.
rubbing the androgel on my shoulders, and then my wife sleeps next to me. She rubs up against me. Next thing you know, she wakes up. She's got balls. Right? That's
China.
what- yeah.
No, you
She's
need to
pegging you.
You have to
Exactly.
do the
But there's no
injections.
dildo.
Exactly.
The well, I
I
will
want
never
the-
be able to
I-
play this on the radio. I don't know if we will. Yeah, well, 8 o'clock is
Yeah.
fine, right?
It's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of
but
work.
you need
Wait,
the,
could I not say that either?
No.
I don't even
I'm
know.
so-
I don't
it's
even
so
know.
hard.
You know what?
Yeah, it
Tom
is
doesn't-
hard.
Tom didn't even know what pegging means. He thought it was the
Yeah,
game.
I
He thought it was the game at Cracker Barrel.
I think priests say pegging a lot. I think
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's-
know they
say
do.
that.
I know. You know what? How priests say it? They go, "I like pegging." That's how they say it.
It's all about not taking too much, right? Because you take too much, it's unnatural, and then it's like stressful on
that's
your
what I think
body or
happens.
whatever. So
Yeah.
you just got to get it to the right.
There's a method, and I believe it's very inter-individual, and that's why I say get your blood levels checked, I'm a huge advocate for testosterone done legally, done within. I think it should be legal. I think it's insane that people get arrested for possession of testosterone, or it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like there's plenty of doctors that just give it to you, like the medical
That's
marijuana
not what
doctor.
she's saying. That's not at all
And
what
it's-
she's saying.
But you go there and they'll.
Yeah. No,
it's
I don't
all
wanna link what
you
you're
pay
saying to
money.
what you
Saying
just
going
said.
to Tijuana for it instead of getting
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah,
We should
yeah.
have more access to it. And there is such a stigma. They say that, oh, this guy punched his wife in the face because he was on steroids. No, the guy was mentally unstable before he used it. He had
Yes.
Yeah.
borderline personality disorder. And when you have any
And it's
sort of
extremely violent.
Like, it
or-
makes the
Yeah.
the steroids make everything bigger. It just made my fist bigger.
Yeah, like the person, this
Makes your
violent
organs- makes your
person.
organs bigger.
Yes, he was violent on testosterone.
Yeah,
too.
like when I threatened to
Maybe a
punch
little
that
more.
Fort Myers guy, I wasn't on testosterone.
Yeah.
I have very selective, defense mechanisms that come into play. But no, if you are out of your mind, you cannot use any substances or
there
any
goes me.
hormones. You can't. You know how
Can't
many
fly a
comics
helicopter.
are
I
out
can't fly a
there?
helicopter because I'm on antidepressants. I wanted to take
Really?
helicopter lessons. They're like, yeah, we're sorry. You're crazy. Goodbye.
No
Yeah,
sugar.
Good pivot. But yeah, it really hurt my feelings because I was like, I have an intense fear of flying, but for whatever reason, helicopters I think are cool.
That sucks. I wish you
And
could fly
they're like,
them.
yeah, no, you can't
Just
learn
don't
how to.
write that down on the form.
I wish you
So
could
then
fly-
they go on
Too far
medication.
gone.
Just
Too
say
far
zero.
gone.
I wish you could have flown a helicopter in a bikini. That would have been great.
See, I've been in drag. I'm flying my helicopter around.
So Anna, where can people follow
Yeah.
you on social
Let's get the
media?
dates.
So my Instagram is Dr_Lepely. So Dr_LEP, as in
Yes.
ELEY, as in
Lepely.
pegging.
Yeah, peg.
All right.
Lepus and peg.
And I have a French last name. I don't know. I have a French last name and I'm Cuban. But yeah, I post my dates there and my drag show dates, and I'm really excited to have Ross McCoy. The lineup for December
it.
30th is going to be so incredible. I have Ross McCoy on, and he is so high energy, which is what I look for.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I don't get to meet comics, and especially now that I'm doing it in cities that I don't have, I'm just showing up for the first
He
time.
doesn't need
No.
a wig now because his hair's long as
That's
hell.
true.
Some
Yeah,
guys will do their
Yeah.
hair, and I love that. Christian Moore did his hair.
Yeah.
Ross, he has the long hair, and then I have Joe Sensabella on.
Oh, yeah, he's super funny.
So Joe Sensabella did this show when I was starting it out, and he did it at Bullenbush, and he looked like he used cocaine as blush. He looked.
He may have done that.
Confirmed.
He looked so bad. I
I love
I
it.
was in disbelief of how bad Joe Sensabella looked. I've got.
What's he on Instagram? What's his handle?
Oh, he changed it recently. It's like Joe Comedy or something.
Yeah,
it's
but it
stupid.
used to be, wasn't it like something original grandma's boy or
Right.
something.
right. Because he has a really cute grandmother.
Yeah, he just recently changed it. But yeah, I
his
would
grandmother
go out and
passed
see
away.
him do that just because of the flip flop, just because of the 180, because he does not express that feel. I've seen him before. That's not his vibe. So I'm going to see him in drag. That would be hilarious.
I'm legitimately curious if I tried to put makeup on
you
my
would look
face.
great. Oh, you mean if you did your own, you
well,
couldn't do it?
Well, I have
You
no
don't know
idea.
how to contour. You know how to shade. You know how to do a.
But I've seen people do it. I've seen
a
my wife do
smoke-
it
I couldn't
driving.
do it either.
Can you do a smoky eye? I bet you can't
Well,
do a smoky
that's
eye.
advanced. I'm talking about the foundation, the
Oh God, you look like
eyeliner.
insane cloud Bobby.
Well, I've seen Crystal do it so many times. I feel like I could do it. It's
Yeah,
not
but you
that
don't
hard.
pay attention. You're just seeing it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that hard. The
Guarantee you
lipstick,
can't do it.
the lipstick, the
Well,
foundation.
let's try it out. That'll be a Tom challenge.
Could you do the lipstick enough and then put your lips together to get the line correct and then like make it look good? And then
it's
can
not
you
that
make
hard.
sure that you do your eyelashes to the point where you don't have any clumps here? Could you do the
you get the
eyeshadow
brush-
under your eye or over top of your eye without getting it everywhere?
Yeah, you just close one eye and you paint one eyelid.
All right,
don't-
we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for a challenge.
If you get
I
me
bet
a
I could-
palette and if you get him a palette, I guarantee you I will crush you in a makeup war.
Well,
I will crush
I
you.
don't know if you've been putting on makeup when you
Yeah,
go
that's
home.
true.
And
You don't know
women's
this,
underwear.
Brandon.
Yeah,
That's true.
you're a
You don't know
weirdo. You're
that.
crazy. That's like I for sure have
I've
never.
got my wig behind me. I carry a wig at all
Yeah.
times. It's sitting
Why
on
is that so geriatric?
this
What do you
way-
dress
I
as?
like grannies.
Like, but you think if I went into the other room, you gave me like 25 minutes and
What? That's too long.
to put on
25
makeup,
minutes.
and then I don't think it would be the
10 minutes.
stereotypical like you
You
know
look like
they-
a clown.
in the movies they're
Yeah.
like
You won't know how to blend or
No.
anything.
well I think that's advanced.
You're fast and
So
clumpy.
that's what we're saying. You're gonna look like a clown.
Yeah, you're gonna look like a clown.
Hey, but if you do it subtly, I feel like
You
Well,
can't-
again, we'll try it out.
Name-
There's no way to know until we do it, right?
Here's how we do it. Name the
Not that
last
hard.
time you've been subtle.
Not that hard, but never done it.
Name the last
I
time
know,
you've
but
been
I've
subtle.
seen it been done.
I've seen a lot of things been done.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I can do it.
I've seen things been done.
You see why I do this show? Because it presents this whole idea to guys. A lot of guys do them. You can tell who has a girlfriend and who doesn't. But even some of the guys with girlfriends, they show up and like, who did your makeup? They did it themselves. Some guys, they have girlfriends that help them. Girlfriends and wives, I'm like, I'm not even worried about it. The ones that are single are the ones that I have to worry about showing up with
Yeah.
nothing on.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
wig,
I
no
couldn't
makeup.
find anything. Right.
They're like in little short shorts and they are ex girl. What this guy, really cute comic
Yeah,
boy in
it's drag.
Jacksonville.
It's not. You're supposed to dress like you're gay.
One
You're
of his
supposed to dress
one
like
of
you're-
his girls left abroad. Yeah, I mean they're basically imitating their exes. Same thing with the girls. I love booking girls that when they go on their dress as a man, they're basically taking out their frustration on the men they've dealt with. Brittany Brave out of Miami and New York. She's my Mr. Miami right now. She's my current title holder. She's going to defend
Congrats.
his crown on January 18th. But her stage name is Dick McDickerson. That's another thing I love. They choose their drag names.
Oh, great.
And they are hilarious. Joe Sensabella chose Josie. Stupid. I don't like that. I like when they really are clever with it. But Dick McDickerson imitates guys, and you can tell she's just taking out her frustration on all the dumb guys she's had to deal with. And same thing with the guys, taking out their frustration, all this dumb stuff they've had to deal with exes and girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Your drag name is Miss Pelling. That's your drag name.
I thought it was going to be Pegging Lee.
No, I went simple for you because you know how to spell.
Oh.
You're Miss Pelling.
Anna, thanks so much for coming.
Yeah,
in.
of course,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Follow. Oh, can I plug my merch really quick?
Yeah.
If you don't
Plug
mind?
it all. Plug it
So
all.
at all my shows, I sell decorative pillows, but I didn't bring it in because it's too much. But
Decorative pillows?
I sell decorative pillows that make fun of girls decorate home decor. I have a line of pillows for straight men, gay men, lesbians,
Just funny
anybody.
pillows.
Yeah,
Oh, I
just
love a good
for
funny
people
pillow.
who aren't the basic straight girl, I have pillows for the whole community,
love
including
it.
the straight men. That I sell at shows, but I also sell T-shirts. 2 fingers. 1 is medical. 2 is magical.
Oh my God,
And-
that's
wait,
us.
sorry, that's us. Will you guys finger each other on the
I
show?
mean,
or-
I mean,
don't have
Wait,
to
am I
threaten me
not
with a
supposed to
good
say that
time.
either? Sorry.
Yeah, Sam's got a lot of work to do.
Well, you just said that's us. So.
Yeah, that's us. 2 fingers.
And then I have I sell these exclusively at shows once in a while because I do graffiti this in Wynwood in Miami, and I have a lot of tourists. I almost said terrorists. I don't know why.
Terrorists? We have a lot of terrorists
I
in
have
our
a lot
video.
of tourists that come through and DM me and they want to buy the shirts. I will make an exception once in a while to mail it to them. It's just a pain in the butt because I am almost a full-time road comic.
Nice.
So it's a pain in the
Congratulations.
ass. Thank you. And then I have Live, Laugh, Lick Pussy.
There you go.
We will release this as a podcast. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Okay.
We'll just release this was a bonus
You mean
content
to
as a
tell me it
podcast.
could have gone dirtier?
Now let's go. Let's talk about something.
Let's go.
I was holding back.
This is like when we had Jay Farrow and we're like, fuck it.
Let's settle this.
You're doing it.
He said we're releasing it as a podcast.
I was like, just listen and answer their questions. I didn't want to say. It really is nerve-wracking to be.
You did great.
Thank you. But it is, coming from a professional world, I really did. Before comedy, I used to speak at academic conferences, and one of the organizations banned me because I would make fun of politicians and religion and in the
Don't
seminars.
make fun of
So-
politicians and religion.
Right. So I
Things that aren't real. Don't make fun of them.
She's speaking her mind. Banner.
but I said to them, okay, but I'm teaching them, right? I'm teaching. I forget what the topic was. It's probably something wild, but it was very scientific. I said, and this is the only lecture I've been to. Was at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. All the lecture halls, people were sleeping. I go, you got to entertain people, but
You're performing, right? You're giving a message.
Right.
You're
And then-
teaching.
So it's just to be not clean, and it's very hard. Even in a very
It's hard for
rated
me,
R
too.
sense, it's just hard to not talk about these things
No,
naturally.
listen. I know. We know.
Especially with
We
what
go
I
back
do.
and forth
Yeah,
between censored and uncensored all the time.
It's
It's
so.
a mess.
so hard. It's so
You
hard.
have me for the uncensored
Yeah.
other stories.
Yeah, well,
That's our fault. We should plan
And comedians in drag doing comedy is a very, like I said, there sometimes I've had penises, testicles, and labia come up because the bikini portion of the show. It is definitely not a clean show by any means. So it's definitely a 20. I mean, some are 18 and up, but I prefer it to be 21 and up.
Sure.
If I had the choice.
Because you drink some alcohol and watch the show.
labia falls out. That's right. That's what happens.
Anna, thanks so much for coming
Thank
by.
you for
We
having
appreciate
me.
it.
I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, we will see you tomorrow.